Hi, I'm Libby, the Awards Coordinator for Hair Expo. Throughout the year, we hear from a broad range of award entrants wanting to know what they could have done differently, how to improve on their performance and participation. Today, we've invited previous judges, all of them award winners themselves, to give us an insight on what it takes to have an award-winning entry. I hope you enjoyed the video and find it useful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your submissions for this year's awards.
There are collections that just want to talk to, they sort of capture you and it gets you really excited. I think the most important thing is when you go through all the categories, the photograph's got to talk to you and it's got to just stand on its own and it's got to capture your whole attention. And when you're seeing so many photographs, a lot of times a lot of things just blur in. When there's that unique presentation or collection comes through, you just get really excited, it engages you and you want to know more about it.
Simple, great lighting, beautiful models and something that is so simply done that it just takes your breath away.
6 strong photos, whereas if there's 4 strong ones and 2 weak ones, then I don't get my wow factor.
It must be now and moving forward and with an edge. It's always got to have an edge. It's always about not copycatting but moving forward.
Nothing beats originality. If it's a copy of something that someone's done a year before or 2 years before, or if it's quite safe but it's high quality, you still don't have that originality and that uniqueness that says I'm a cut above the rest.
A photographic collection is a collection, so it's 6 images, and I think a lot of people make the mistake they have 1 hero shot or 2 hero shots rather than it be consistent across the board. You're only as good as your weakest link.
Very unprofessional, looking quite suburban, looking quite naff really. There's a lot of stuff that just isn't that great.
It can be really something quite small, like maybe if somebody's using a wig, you might see a hairline under that wig.
The main thing that concerns me is the bad lighting. It's very, very difficult to see a lot of the hairs.
It's not what has been or thinking that it's going to be only for the next couple of months, but for the next 12 months, what's going to excite the industry and the public.
So I'm looking for something that leaps out with originality, and that also though I look for something that's very distinctly Australian.
If you want to win, you have to want gold. You have to want to be able to push it further. You can't stick on the fence. It doesn't work that way.
It's looking forward. What are these leaders out there doing? And taking a look at that and sort of coming up with, okay, so this is where they're going. You will see that there will actually be a theme or a trend that tends to evolve around all of these people. So look at the colour, look at the length, look at the way the hair is being cut, and you should be able to get some great inspiration.
I think it's great that now you have to show a before shot and a working shot.
I think it's brilliant. It really means the people that are making that effort, that are using real hair, that are colouring real hair, which is your skill. That's what we're judging here, that's part of your skill. They're actually doing that, and you can clearly see.
Most of the judges are hairdressers, and we do understand what's going on, so don't try to bluff or make us think that we don't know what's going on, because it could go against you.
Take shots of the work as it's being coloured, and then have a good look at what you've shot and try to select a picture that's going to show the best application, the way that you actually have put it together.
When we start looking at formulation and understanding all that, it all sort of adds up to the end shot. It's not make-believe, or there's no trickery to what they actually do. And I think it's really, really important that it stays focused on the model's hair.
It's a fine line to digitally enhance what is there without changing it. Certainly I have looked at collections and I've just reacted negatively and thought that's too plastic.
The secret is, of course, don't overdo it and don't make it look weird, but to make the photographs look beautiful and to look naturally beautiful.
Do not go berserk, it will go against you, because then it is not your work.
It doesn't make you look great as a hairdresser when it's very, very apparent that you have had that whole fringe cut on a computer and not with your hands.
I have a really big issue with that because I then question the person who's doing the work. Can you do it or can't you? Do you need another operator to actually enhance your work?
Here shouldn't and wouldn't really need a lot if it was really well done.
Read the rules and stick to the criteria. It's so important.
Why do we have to do all the makeup and put all the bells and whistles on? Why do we have that busy background? What is it about it, the hair, that we can't just let that stand alone, that we have to absolutely camouflage the hair with all these other things that are going on in the pictures?
Dependence upon wigs. I do feel that there's just so many obvious wigs in there that you wonder what the hairdressing skills are really like and real hair. I mean, they start to be almost an avant-garde entry, and I find that hard to judge because there is no avant-garde category.
A lot of the judges do know who the models are because we've all worked with them before. So, you know, when someone says that they haven't used a wig and we do know that model, we will know that they have used a wig.
I think you need to do your homework. I think that's really, really important. You need to know what past winners have done, and you do need to progress. Don't try to copy it or I can do it better. Your judging panel is a group of people and they're on the edge. They want better and better. They don't want yesterday.
For me personally, it's just someone who just loves sitting out on the edge, playing, pushing the boundaries, making us judges look at it seriously and far much more detail of where they're going to go with this shot.
Obviously, colourist technician, lots of colour, lots of interesting colour, lots of variety. Australian Hairdresser of the Year, high quality, like gobsmackingly, wow, I want to wow. You know, and then you go into the new creative force and you're wanting to see something, people pushing the envelope, like really starting to break through limits. And with Apprentice, you're looking for youthful energy. So each category, I have like a little sentence in mind that I'm trying to see if there's a collection that captures that.
Try to keep the consistency and keep it as a collection. It's a big word. It's not the one Mona Lisa, it is a collection shoot. And that's what's so hard about it, because to get 6 Mona Lisas is very, very hard.
For me to read on in any submission, the first question is the most important.
Making sure that it's real and honest. Because once again, we are in this industry, we know an honest submission.
I really saw people's passion coming through last time. That's what made me notice the winners.
Someone who answers from the heart, and it's all about what they've done for their salon, for the industry.
No fluff, just get to the point. No fancy stuff, so we can sort of read through it and really understand what they really wanted to share with us.
I don't want to know what you've done 3 years ago. I want to know what you've done in the last 12 months. And the minute you start referring back past that, you've lost me straight away.
Less is more is the key thing, so you've got to get that answer to the top quickly. I want to be the Australian Hairdresser of the Year. Why? Bang, hit the judge in the face.
What's their dream? What's their passion? And if you can't get that through in this submission, then often sometimes you're missing that and it becomes very cold and it's not engaging then.
The winners, every single question is answering that specific question with a collection of new material or new evidence for that particular question.
Obviously credibility, staying with the criteria, but answering the question. It's amazing how many don't answer the question.
I always want to give everyone the best go, but if I can't read it without getting a headache, it's not going to be good.
A clear, clean presentation that you go through each question and you get a clean answer. And it's really precisely laid out, and some of them are very messy and you're just all over the place and you really find it hard.
If they're meant to turn this way, then don't do a submission that turns that way. don't do tricky covers because they think that it's going to be clever or grab our attention. It actually becomes really negative because it becomes a hassle.
I want to know that it holds together because I have judged where the submissions have fallen apart. So I think it's really important to put a little bit of time in just to have it bound.
I like seeing a submission with a cover page. I think it gives me an idea of someone just giving some thought about it, and I'm very proud of who they are.
You will get people that in their submissions will have something like 20 to 30 bullet points. You might read maybe the first 4, 5, 6, but then it starts to be this sort of repetitive, quite visually boring thing for us, or for me to read.
I've spoken to other people who put entries in and have basically said they feel it's their privacy not to have to disclose figures. And I so get that, but quite honestly, if you want to win a competition, you better put the figures in because once again, you've lost 10 points.
The more you consider me and make it easy for me to find that information, the, I guess, more pleasurable it is for me to judge your submission.
I actually like it to be together. I don't like seeing refer to the back.
Remember that every salon could use a different computer system. So not every judge can read your report easily. If you don't know that report or that spreadsheet, it makes it difficult and we don't get the information you're trying to give us.
My preference is to see graphs. I don't need to see a whole lot of computer printouts because then that becomes quite cumbersome.
The other thing I'm quite particular about is the scanned in images. They have to be big enough for us to be able to read.
Judge a competition and don't sort of, strike on the responsibility. If someone wants to come and stand in your salon for a day and watch what your salon does, don't charge them. Take them on a photo shoot. They're not going to get in your road. You can just put them in the corner if they're not, they are under your feet. But, take them there. There's a lot of times you're doing backstage at Fashion Week and you need a team. Think of the young kids that you know that have come up to you and thought you were wonderful when you were doing an education and said, if there's anything I can ever do. Remember them, contact them, invite them.
I'd like to see what you're doing that's a little bit different. Maybe you're volunteering to go and teach some children, disadvantaged kids at TAFE. Maybe you're, people that can't afford education. Maybe you're thinking of different things and you're initiating it yourself.
All I'd like to see is that you're doing something positive and you're growing. And the most important thing is that you're sharing and stick to it. Believe in it, do it, and don't do anything else but that.
This is how you help our industry, giving your time to the industry so it can grow and the next generation can come up and they will do the same.
Stuff that is old, as in someone who's making, claims for the last 12 months, but I know that it may be from 3 years ago.
I can't stand seeing a whole page of writing on a question that's just rattling and filling in a page. And then the next question has pretty much the same but worded in a different way.
There's only one way to go into a competition and that's to give it your best. Some of them that say that, you can tell they're just giving it a shot and crossing their fingers and crossing their arms and crossing their legs and forget it. Don't work like that.
Keep it real, don't bullshit basically, to be quite honest.
The information that's given often is so blown out that it's just, it's so unreal.
At a glance, most of us can see whether something is credible or not. And in the past, I have seen things that did not add up, and obviously that's not going to be great.
If you're a colourist who works part-time and you had the gall to tell us that you've done 50 colours a week, I'm sorry, you didn't do 50 colours. I call that BS.
If you're competing after year, just be really aware what you're going to answer.
The perfect submission for me is one that you actually can't put down. It takes longer than everyone else's because you're absolutely learning yourself from this person.
I enjoy opening that book and going on a journey, and it's just a real pleasure just reading the information and the answers on seeing someone growing, someone who's excited about our industry, and someone who really deserves to be that #1 person.
You don't have to spend a lot of money, but beautifully bound, very nice paper, very clean. really, really precise, very much sort of point form, beautifully typed, spaced, little photos, everything lining up, and written by the person from the heart.
Easy to read, that is visual, that has personality in it as well, that is accurate with the information that's in there.
Just try to be yourself. Try to be yourself and put yourself, your stamp, your own individual stamp on that submission. Just go a little bit out of the box, just make it look less clinical and a little bit of creativity in there, and that will make you memorable.